Hey guys, what's going on? It's the Trell Count Podcast, and you already know it's your boy, the IWC's favorite, Uncle Handsome Heel, Trell himself, broadcasting to you guys live from the City of Angels. I am by myself tonight. It might be that way for the foreseeable future. Who knows? We'll see. Sometimes we can get my people on here, sometimes we can't, but it's all good. Hey, check it out, man. That's why it's called the Trail Count, right? So anyway, hey, check it out. Hope you guys had a great weekend as usual. I want to shout out to all my people out there showing love in YouTube land and Spotify land, listening in as well, or wherever you may get your podcast from. And let's jump this off accordingly in the right way. It's only right, of course. First of all, coming to y'all a little late this week, just with scheduling and trying to get everybody on one accord here, which as we can see, I'm by myself. So like I said, trying to get everybody, but it happens, so we got to get a show in here. So we're going to do it anyways. Basically, we just had a lot of stuff go down, y'all. We just had Clash in Italy go down this past Sunday, and then also Monday Night Raw just concluded last night. I'm gonna go over a couple of points here for y'all. First of all, hey man, shout out the biggest thing we opened up with Clash in Italy. It was a great show as usual. The crowd out there in Italy doing their thing as international crowds do. I really don't like the whole beef when it comes to the IWC, when it comes to the United States versus other countries and all this. I don't feel like it's a versus thing. It's just that these international crowds, and I say this as somebody that's well-traveled, that's been over there, that's been to these places. I have hung out with these people, talked to these people, partied with these people. I will have to say one thing I haven't done, which I'm going to scratch that itch. Hopefully I'm able to scratch that itch for WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia coming up. I have never did a live show with an international audience as far as wrestling. So that's going to be different. But I know enough about them to know that these people, that's just their nature. Even when it comes to soccer events or whatever other major events come to their country, they're going to turn up. That's what it is, right? And I feel like sometimes as American fans, we get a little jealous because, and I think, and you know what, I do think Triple H and TKO and the crew try to stir the pot a little bit, like not in a negative way, but just as a healthy competition. Like they do things like they throw up the little sound meter on there to show y'all how loud it is up in there. Or they make comments like I was watching the post show and Cody Rhodes had pretty much said to them, hey, y'all keep on turning up like this. We're going to bring another PLE back here. You know what I mean? Kind of like, so it's little things they say that I know that the American fans might not really appreciate too much, especially some of y'all that be hating on other countries anyways. I'm not like that. I feel like it's healthy competition. If we feeling like the crowds is drowning us out or they making us look bad, we got to do better. So when when a Raw, SmackDown, PLE come to your city, turn up. You know what I mean? But I mean, I've been to shows here in the States, plenty of shows here in the States where things were just as good, right? So it just depends. And sometimes I've watched shows and I've been at shows where that crowd was a little bit, I wouldn't say dead, but it hasn't been where it probably should be for a live show, let's say that, which we've never seen that happen with another country. So y'all just got to step it up. I just wanted to say that because I see a lot of stuff like that, especially every time it comes to these international shows. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all be feeling away. But I want to jump into it, man. Of course, like I said, we had Clash in Italy. It went down. It was a great. The only thing about it, I will say this: the first match of the night, Cody Rhodes. Well, I don't know if it was the first match. I can't remember, but it was up there in the beginning. But either way, it was Cody Rhodes versus Gunther for the championship. I don't really like the way the match ended. I don't know if there was like a botch with the finish or if that was meant to happen. It ended where they had Gunther's leg under the bottom rope. And then, the referee counts the 1, 2, 3, and Cody gets the W off of the crossroads. But I'm not sure if it was supposed to end that way. I don't know if that'll ever come out or we'll know, or if that was intentional, or if that was just some type of finish to where to keep both guys looking strong, so we could get a Cody Gunther rematch in the future. They're trying to push that. I'm pretty sure we're definitely. Well, I know. I would bet the house that we're gonna get this again. I would say coming up pretty soon at one of the upcoming PLEs, or at least by SummerSlam. Maybe not even that far out. So yeah, because that finish, I didn't like the match. To me, was kind of dull. I'm not gonna lie, the match was kind of dull, and the finish wasn't all that to me. So that's just my rating on that one. Everything else, we had Rhea Ripley. I'm just going over a few highlights here. We had Rhea Ripley retain over Jade Cargill. That match was highly entertaining, with the fact that we knew we was going to get Michin and B-Fab interfering rather in the match. The classic heel stuff where they come out and they put Jade Cargill's foot on the rope, so to save her title. But then what's crazy is you had Charlotte Flair show up in the bedazzled jean outfit, like she was fresh as hell. Matter of fact, if y'all ain't seen that, what I'm talking about, go back and watch that. Charlotte came through with the fresh fit, hops the barricade, takes out B-Fab and Michin, and then in turn, there's a spot where, like I said, don't forget, like I said, Michin put Jade Cargill's foot on the rope to save her out of the pin. But then when Charlotte Flair comes out, you have another situation where Jade Cargill's got the pin on Rhea Ripley, but this time Charlotte puts, for a little bit of karma, a little bit of payback, Charlotte puts Rhea Ripley's foot on the rope. So that match was highly entertaining. But then, like I said, too many distractions and too many, just the enough amount of shenanigans for Jade Cargill to still get off the win. I mean, I'm sorry, for just enough shenanigans for Rhea Ripley, to get off the win and retain her title, thanks to help from Charlotte Flair. And then they showed a little spot there, a little shot of when Rhea Ripley was leaving the match. You had Charlotte, she was carrying Charlotte Flair out, like not carrying out, but they was kind of like, they look like best friends. So I don't know if they're hinting at maybe like a tag team thing later on, like with Charlotte and Rhea. I'm not sure what's going on with that, because as you know, right now you got Rhea and Io supposed to be like together, but I don't know if they're trying to kind of branch Io out, because we just saw her. And I don't mean to deviate too much, but we just saw Io Sky over on Monday night. We just saw her advance in the King of the Ring tournament that's also kicked off, that started on Monday Night Raw. We saw her advance in that match successfully. So maybe there could be a thing where they're kind of I don't want to call it breaking them up, but they're kind of, right now, I feel like Io and Rhea already had their time in the story together. So right now, at least taking a break and kind of deviating away from each other. And kind of now they have Charlotte and Rhea hinting at maybe some situation where we're going to get that Charlotte and Rhea Ripley team in some type of form or fashion. I wouldn't mind seeing that, almost like a super team, even though Rhea Ripley and Io were also great. But I just feel like you have to look at the legacy and who Charlotte Flair is, and then look at who Rhea is. And not to say that Io is not on that same level. I just feel like when it comes to Rhea and Charlotte, they're kind of just on a higher platform, just a little bit, not nothing crazy. I feel like you got like Io right here, but you got them two right there. I feel like that team would be crazy. Like if Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley got together, that would be like some superpowers, Hogan and Macho Man back in the day type shit. You know what I mean? So I feel like, I wouldn't mind seeing this at least once at one event, even if it's not going to be like a long-term tag team or whatever. But then I don't know where that would leave Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. And right now I'm just rambling on some fantasy shit but I'm just saying, maybe I'm thinking too far into it, because we know that Charlotte and Alexa Bliss already had issues with Michin and B-Fab, and Jade Cargill anyway. So they came out there, or well, not they, but Charlotte came out there doing that kind of just to get a little payback, and maybe even to help out Rhea anyways. So we'll have to see and keep an eye on that. But overall, it was a good match, 10 out of 10. Way better than the Cody versus Gunther. Like I said, the only match I didn't like on this card was the Cody versus Gunther, which really surprised me, because I thought with the build, that match had really good build up. So I thought with the build up they had that I was going to enjoy it, but I really just did not. And then let's move down. Of course, shout out to Sol Ruka. You know, she's grown. Well, she's already been grown on me, and now I'm definitely a Sol Ruka fan. I'm all on board with it. She won the Intercontinental Championship over Becky Lynch in what was a kick-ass match. Great finish. We even saw a spot where Sol Ruka hit the manhandle slam on Becky Lynch. That was crazy. Of course, Becky kicked out. But then in the end, you got Sol Ruka winning the championship. I called this a few episodes ago, especially when Sol Ruka was not successful the first time around with the championship match. I knew that they were just pushing this out to Clash in Italy, and everything happened like I said it would. And now we got Sol Ruka with a straight up rocket strapped to her back, going straight to the moon. You dig what I'm saying? The new Intercontinental Champion. So shout out to her on that one. And then we had one of the top matches, one of the most talked about matchups probably in the business this past week. You had Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar Part 2. Brock coming out of and you know what? I even hate to even say coming out of retirement, because, bro, it's like, y'all be killing me with that. But it's not even y'all, because I was watching the event, right? And I'm going to get into the match here in a minute, but I'm watching the match, and I think it was like Michael Cole or Corey. And then they were just like, oh, Brock looks amazing for somebody that just came out of retirement. Or you know what? It might have been the post show, but somebody said it. It doesn't matter. But somebody said it on WWE television. So my point is, they were like, oh, Brock looks amazing for somebody that came out of retirement. And I'm just like, dude was only gone for like 2 or 3 weeks. Like, it wasn't even like a real retirement. You know what I'm saying? It was like a retirement, but it really wasn't. Like, you barely was gone. You feel me? So what are we even talking about right now? So that was kind of funny how they made it seem like he was gone for like a year or 2 or something, or 3 or more or something. So that was kind of funny. And then they even came out with they did come out with Brock Lesnar retirement merch. And I think it says like the beast is back or something like that or whatever. And as much as I talk shit about it, I ain't gonna lie, y'all already know me. I'm like the merch king. I'm probably still gonna buy it though. But that's still crazy. That's still crazy to me if they would do that though. But either way, I guess technically, because he did retire at WrestleMania, so they're calling this they're booking this, or they're saying, oh, he came out of retirement. But that's crazy to me. But anyways, this match, honestly, way more spots happened in this match than I thought was gonna happen. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. At first, I was kind of worried. As soon as the match starts, you got Brock Lesnar that immediately hits like the same thing, hits like hella F5s, hella big, power moves on Oba. And I'm like, oh man, is this gonna just be like Brock coming out here and just dominating him in like 5 minutes? Like, that's gonna suck. That's gonna be a real big mistake. But it didn't. Like, Oba bounced back and made it into a match. But then ultimately, which again, I really need to start getting on DraftKings or something, y'all, because I called this one too, because I said they're going to do Brock Oba 2. They got the Clash in Italy, right? That happened. And then I said Brock's probably going to win this second one. They're going to tie it up 1-1. And sure enough, Brock Lesnar ends up winning this match 1. And now this series, because we're in a series, whether y'all know it or not, we're in a Brock Lesnar we're in a Brock Lesnar Oba Femi series. And right now, we're at 1-1, folks. That's where we at. We at 1-1. So now I'm calling the third matchup. They're going to make this into a trilogy, and I'm going to call that for SummerSlam in Brock's hometown in Minnesota. I feel like that's where it's going to be at, and I feel like if he is done, he's going to be putting over Oba Femi at SummerSlam to retire this time for sure. That's how I'm calling it. So we'll see what happens with that. But excellent match there. Then we had, of course, Tribal Combat. To me, the second most talked about. Some of y'all might have y'all opinion, but second most talked about match right now in the business. Tribal Combat. You had Roman Reigns, Jacob Fatu. We knew what the ramifications was. The loser had to basically follow the leader. That's it. If you win, you're the tribal chief. If you lose, you have to fall in line with the bloodline. So this match absolutely slapped like we thought it would. My only thing about this tribal combat stuff is, and maybe I'm gonna get some hate for this a little bit. Everybody knows I'm the biggest Roman Reigns fan, OTC, Tribal Chief, all that good stuff. My only thing is when they come out with these matches and they put a name on it like a tribal combat, it's like, to me, the match was great, but I feel like let's do away with all these fancy names unless we're really going to go over the top, because I felt like, no, that's what happened. I watched a great match, but I watched a classic street fight or like an Extreme Rules match. That's pretty much what I watched. This was like an Extreme Rules match. This wasn't like, I didn't feel like there was anything special that made it like, oh, this is a tribal combat match. Like, we knew, well, I guess if you just want to say, I mean, they could have said, hey, you know what, this is going to be an Extreme Rules match. And then, the stipulation is this, or they could have said under a tribal combat contract or something like that. That states, what's going to happen. But I just feel like you put a label on something, and it's basically just an Extreme Rules match. But again, I'm not even upset about it, because you had Roman pull out the toolbox and smash the toolbox over Jacob Fatu's hand, which disabled the tongue and death grip or whatever, which that was pretty smart writing and booking there, because we knew the whole time they had been selling this tongue and death grip. So that was a great way to get rid of that, to kind of help Roman get the W there. But again, I felt like we watched a glorified Extreme Rules match, which is not a bad thing. This match, to me, still could get match of the year candidate at the Slammies. Still was an amazing match, one of, if not the best match of the night. So I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, if we're going to put certain labels on matches, like, give me something, like, do something to the ring. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think back in the day, and y'all can help me out in the comments on this, because I'm probably going to mess this up. But I know back in the day, you had the Great Khali, and he used to have, I think he had a match with the Undertaker, and it was like the Punjabi match or something like that. But this thing, they had altered the ring. It looked like bamboo stick or something they had did. It's been a minute ago since I watched this, but they did something special to the ring. Like, it was like its own theme type of match. You know what I'm saying? Like, you knew you were in this Punjabi match, if I'm saying it right. You know what I mean? Like, that's my whole point of what I'm saying. So if you're going to do a special theme match, you got to do something to the environment. You got to do something different. Like, make me feel like I'm inside of that match with them. Like, this is super special. Like, when it's a Hell in a Cell match, right? The Hell in a Cell comes down, you feel it like it's a Hell in a Cell match. So all I'm saying is, if you're going to have a tribal combat match, give me that tribal combat environment. Give me that tribal combat feel. I just really wasn't getting it with this one, is all I'm saying. Just a little tidbit there. But again, excellent match. 10 out of 10. The Tribal Chief, I was kind of worried that they might send us on a swerve and give this thing to Jacob Fatu, and we have an angle where Roman is following, and that would have been super crazy, but that did not happen. The Tribal Chief overcame and beat and domesticated the Samoan Werewolf, and now Roman Reigns still champion. And the night after on Raw, surprisingly, because I thought it was going to be some nonsense, but Jacob Fatu actually fell in line for now. And I say for now, we're going to get into that, why I'm saying for now. But, we'll see what happens. So with that, and then, of course, the very next night, Monday Night Raw, like I just said, back in Italy again, which kind of threw us off for yesterday's pod, because, I was at work. I really forgot that they came on here in Cali. I think that show started at like 11 a.m., which honestly, I'm a dedicated fan, y'all. I could have watched it at work. I really could have watched it at my desk, but I didn't even know it was on, or I forgot it was on until I'm on my phone scrolling around, between working, and I happen to see the Raw clips are already being uploaded, and I'm like, oh man, that's right, Raw was on right now. So I think I ended up catching like the main event or so, and then I went back home and watched all of it. But then it was kind of late. I had some other shit to do. Couldn't get the rest of the guys on. Still can't get these boys on, as y'all can see. So, that kind of told this Italy thing kind of threw the pod schedule off. But either way, I did finish the show. and I had a few notes over there. Obviously, we opened up like we knew we would. Roman Reigns coming out with Jey Uso in the crew and everything. And then Jacob Fatu, like I said, Jacob Fatu comes out there and pretty much acknowledges his tribal chief for now, right? And the reason I'm saying for now is because I don't trust it. I think right now he's playing his hand, and the only hand he has to play is to fall in line. Even though, yeah, the tribal combat rules state that he had to acknowledge Roman Reigns, and he did that. We don't know how long he's got to do it or what other stuff. And, this is WWE. They always come up with a stipulation. And when is anybody ever 100% stuck to their stipulation? This is in pro wrestling. When does that even ever happen? You know what I mean? So honestly, I don't trust it. If we rewind just a bit back to Clash in Italy, at the closure or the ending of the tribal combat match, which was the main event, you had Solo and his crew from SmackDown sitting over in the front row. The camera pans over. Jacob Fatu is defeated, climbs out of the ring, defeated. He's looking all crazy, like all disappointed. And he's look over and he locks eyes with Solo. I feel like at some point, Solo is going to get involved with this thing. And I feel like Jacob Fatu is going to hop sides or really go back to Solo. I feel like that he sees now that, oh man, hey, I didn't get the job done. I messed up. I'm stuck. And my only way out of this could be rejoining Solo. I think it's to the point where he'd rather rejoin Solo than even go. Maybe even he regrets turning on Solo. Who knows? Right? And then Roman's calling everybody out. Roman is out now at the top of his peak after this W. Confidence on 10. God mode on 10. He's calling people out. He's name dropping LA Knight because he's been snooping around in bloodline business. He's calling out everybody. Even he's calling out QB1, calling out Cody Rhodes. And then he looks over at Solo. He's like, yeah, and I got something for his ass next. So he already got Solo on his radar anyway. Don't matter. So I feel like things are about to get very interesting when it comes to Jacob Fatu. I don't think this is going to be he's going to fall back in line and just be a henchman for the bloodline. And I feel like for him to do something like that, which I don't think they would do, actually would regress his character. For him to say, okay, I'm just going to give up and just be how I used to be with Solo. Like, no, I feel like something is very different this time and something will come of it. So we have to keep an eye on that. But shout out to the tribal chief. You know what I mean? My boy, the OTC, like I said. And of course, like I told y'all already, bro, the King of the Ring tournament kicked off. They already announced that the winners they're going to crown the king and queen as usual at Night of Champions coming up. That tournament kicked off. Obafemi, and this shit was funny, y'all. Obafemi was in the Fatal 4-Way match. And I believe it was, Penta, Solo, and Carmelo Hayes. This match slapped. And I love how they put all these different people that we otherwise probably wouldn't ever see one-on-one or in a match together. I mean, it was very unique and fresh matchups. I like that. It was actually a good match. Oba ended up getting taken out for a little bit. But when this dude came back, this dude emerged from ringside, comes back and just takes everybody out. And then to me, what was a funny ass spot, y'all, was when you had Carmelo Hayes up on the apron. So Obafemi's getting back in the ring, but on his way back in, and y'all know how fast Oba be moving, right? So Oba sliding, but on his way back, sliding back in the ring or whatever, he cracks the shit out of Carmelo Hayes, like on a slap on the chest. I ain't never seen somebody get slapped so hard they just fly off the apron. Like he sent this dude almost into the third row off a slap, and then just ends up taking everybody else out. And then, of course, Obafemi advancing. I feel like they're going to have Obafemi win this whole tournament, to be honest. I just don't see nobody else. I mean, honestly, I'm going to go ahead and just give y'all my two, because honestly, I feel like King of the Ring, Obafemi, and then I feel like for Queen of the Ring, honestly, I think I want to say they honestly, because Liv Morgan threw her hat up in there, even though she's a champion already. I feel like they might just go ahead and let Liv Morgan get that too, because they've been trying to like do this thing where they're kind of building. Well, not I mean she's already up there, but kind of I feel like when it's all said and done, they want Liv Morgan to be up there with like Charlotte Flair. And I keep bringing up Charlotte Flair because Charlotte Flair is like the bar, like her, Rhea, like she's the bar. You feel me? I feel like she is right now. So, but we'll see though, or maybe not. So I don't know. I'm gonna get back to y'all on my queen because maybe I'm picking wrong. We gonna see. We gonna see. You know what I mean? And don't forget about Stephanie Valkyria. I don't know if she was even up in there. I can't remember. I think she might be injured right now or something. I can't remember. But y'all can correct me on this video if I'm saying it wrong. But we're gonna see. But I'm definitely going. I'm not backing down on that. I'm picking Obafemi for King of the Ring, no doubt, 100%. Unless something else happens to prevent him, like some other type of swerve they throw at us or whatever. But I just don't see him losing it. And like I said, Io Sky advanced in the tournament. And you know what? It might be Io Sky to win the whole thing. I can see that too. But I'm going to get back to, like I said, I'm going to get back. Now, speaking of this, in that match, you had Roxanne Perez. She lost that match. She goes backstage. She's pissed off about it. Here comes Liv Morgan, who won her match. I don't think Liv. Actually, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm all over the place. I don't think Liv Morgan had a match. I could be wrong. But either way, I know she's at least in the tournament. She's in the tournament. But either way, Liv Morgan is back there and she's being typical Liv Morgan in the Judgment Day clubhouse, right? And she's like, yeah, me and Daddy Dom about to take the whole thing. She's basically saying her and Dom going to win the tournament. And then everybody's looking at her crazy. She has to correct herself because she's like, oh, no, I didn't mean it like that. Any of us could win, But she, the tension in the Judgment Day clubhouse is at an all-time high. And it's like Liv can't read the room. And then the way Roxanne is staring at her, like, I feel like she got beef. I feel like Roxanne really don't even like Liv Morgan. Like, she low-key don't even want to be in Judgment Day. But I feel like she puts up with Judgment Day because she knows at the end of the day, it's smarter, at least right now, for her to continue to be with them. I feel like she uses them because it's good right now for somebody to have her back. But long term, I feel like we're going to be seeing Roxanne break away from Judgment Day. And down the line, I'm calling this, at least by this summer or after this summer, I definitely see a Liv Morgan Roxanne feud, like straight up. Because even with the whole Finn Balor situation, Roxanne wasn't happy with that. You know what I'm saying? And then she's never happy with how Liv is acting. So, and then really, even she was even getting some side eyes from like Raquel Gonzalez this past Monday. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, who knows? And we've already seen several members get booted up out of Judgment Day. And we know how that goes down. So, it's to a point we're not even going to have a Judgment Day. You know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, and speaking of that, the longevity of this group, though, has amazed me. And if you think about the evolution of it, though, like you think about how when Edge was there, and yeah, I said Edge, but y'all know him as Cope over in AEW, but whatever, y'all know how I'm talking about. But he was the one that created this group long time ago, right? They've been around for like a hot second. So just looking at the evolution of everything, it's crazy how many characters and talent that group alone has made, right? So shout out to them for sure on that one. But definitely something to keep an eye on, man. Look out for that Roxanne Liv Morgan feud. And then I'm gonna just bounce over here to the main event, yo, straight up crazy main event, blockbuster main event. Even though, and I guess I got to go ahead and take back what I said last week. They must have heard me talking because I said, man, I do not want to see Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker go at it again. But they did go at it again in the main event. And I ain't going to lie. As soon as they announced it, I'm like, bro, here we go again. But this one slapped. This one, spots was crazy. The one spot when you had Seth Rollins hit the pedigree over on the outside, that was a crazy spot. Obviously, the spot when Braun Breakers accidentally speared Paul Heyman, that shit was funny. That was a good spot. We had Montez Ford get up in the mix. And I keep telling y'all about this Montez Ford. What I'm telling you, if y'all notice, man, they keep putting Montez in these little solo situations to see how he does, to see how the crowd is reacting. I'm telling y'all right now, y'all calling me crazy, but I'm telling you, man, they getting ready to, at some point, put a rocket on the back of Montez Ford. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, but then I love the finish of this match. What ends up happening, Seth Rollins ends up finding a way to somehow the referee, I think the referee was down or either distracted. Y'all have to go back and watch the match. But either way, the referee was not looking, or the referee was unavailable in this spot. So Seth Rollins finds a way to get one of those tag team titles around his waist. Braun Breaker's coming for another spear. Braun Breaker ends up taking himself out, smacks his head up on the title that he didn't see that was around Seth's waist, knocks himself out. Seth gets rid of the title because here comes the referee, which I believe he was knocked out. The referee waking back up. Seth hits the stomp for the 1, 2, 3 and gets up out of there and finally gets the W over Braun Breaker. Great finish. And you know what that shit reminded me of? It reminded me of back in the day. If y'all remember, I think it was like Bret Hart, and he had like a body plate, or like he had like some plates up under his shirt or jacket or something, and Goldberg tried to spear him, and that's how Goldberg knocked himself out. I believe that was Goldberg and Bret Hart back in WCW back in the day. Y'all can go look that up. Matter of fact, I'm gonna look that up. I think I'm telling y'all the right one, but that's what that reminded me of. It gave me Bret Hart and Goldberg vibes. You know what I'm saying? So hey, but shout out the TKO group and WWE for doing another fantastic Monday Night Raw. It's always going down. But yeah, a lot of stuff still going down. And then before I get up out of here, I want to also talk about one more thing that came in the news, man. One more thing that came in. Enzo, and I'm excited about this, man. Enzo and Cass is back. They're going to be signing back with WWE. I don't know if they're going to have them on NXT or how they're going to do it. I think NXT really needs them right now. I was watching NXT tonight, and I ain't going to lie, and this is going to be a big topic from another pod coming up later this week or whenever we get time to hop back on here, but I'm not going to deep dive too much into it, but man, hey, look, with this NXT, I hate to say it, I feel like I don't want to say it's been too many call-ups, but I think that's probably what the reason is. But the result of these call-ups, they're putting all this new talent on at one time, and not like everybody's gone. You still got like Lola Vice there. You still got some other people there like Tatum Paxley, you know, all that type of stuff. But then for the most part, it's just a lot of new talent trying to be pushed at once, and it's just not the same NXT. It's got to the point where I could go without watching that show live. Like, I'm not going to miss no wrestling now. I'm going to watch the episode. But like today, I spent 2 hours watching NXT that I could have been at the gym. Like, for real, I could have watched that later tonight while I was in bed or something, which, like, honestly, I think until they get a little bit better, I'm probably going to be watching the replay of NXT. And that's just my critique on that. Maybe y'all could disagree with me. Maybe y'all feel like NXT is the better product, but I don't feel it. Right now, it's not terrible. It's just not what it used to be. It's not, oh, let me go run home and go watch NXT. Like, nah. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm pretty sure it's going to pick back up again. You know what I mean? It happens like that. But what I was going to say, but I mean, I would send Enzo and Cass over there to NXT because they need it right now. They need it right now. Also, you could send them over to SmackDown for the tag division. Really in either tag division, because you just got rid of New Day, right? And you just got rid of Motor City Machine Guns. So if you're trying to rebuild your tag division, bam, there you go, Enzo and Cass. They're great on the mic. I can't wait to see them in like a promo with anybody, you know, so I can be laughing my ass off like Danhausen, R-Truth. Any of that shit would be hilarious. Miz, whoever else. But I don't want them to be like a comedy act, right? Like they're good. They could be both, but I want to see them in serious competition as well. So So yeah, so congratulations to Enzo and Cash. Shout out to those boys. Welcome back to, you know what I'm saying? Welcome back to where the best wrestle. I said it. WWE, like, and I'm not like I know because y'all be saying that over in AEW, and y'all know I watch all products, but I don't care. I feel like WWE is the mecca, is the bar. So welcome back to the top of the game, Enzo and Cass. Can't wait to see y'all boys on TV. Growing up as a fan, I was a huge Enzo. Really, I was more of an Enzo fan. I remember I got to meet both of them at WrestleMania in 2018. I believe, 2018 back in New Orleans. So, hey, can't wait to see those boys again. So, but that's all the time we had tonight. And I am about to get out of here and get me a workout in, y'all. But I hope y'all have a great rest of y'all's night wherever you may be watching or listening from. Thank you again for shopping with your boy. I know this episode was kind of choppy. I'm not even gonna lie. It wasn't my best, but hey, I'm getting used to kind of doing the solo thing because that may be happening a little bit more in the future. So I want y'all to bear with me. But thank y'all for supporting me. Make sure you like and subscribe. Shout out to all my folks here on YouTube. Shout out to all my folks in Spotify land or wherever you may get your podcast. And until next time, your boy Trell is up out of here. Peace.